After who knows how many times my faculty advisor had forced me to sign that triple employment agreement for some shitty job, I finally snapped. I splurged and paid in full for a $10 lottery ticket, fantasizing about hitting the jackpot overnight, becoming a billionaire, and escaping my damn life of wage slavery. When that dream of instant riches shattered once again, I found myself slumped by a dumpster, clutching a bottle of cheap booze and crying. That's when I saw it. The sky was raining pearls, jade, gold, silver, and jewelry, all pouring down like someone was taking out the trash. I reached out, watching the latest G-brand Spring Haute Couture bag glide past my fingertips. I was practically drooling with envy. Stop throwing it away, that's all cash. If you really don't want it, you could just give it to me, for God's sake. I watched, agonized, as what looked like fistfuls of dollar bills were pushed away with the garbage. I was itching with frustration, stretching my hand out desperately when my alarm clock blared. I slapped a hand out from under the duvet to silence the alarm. I lay there in dead silence for a long moment before thrashing around, wrapping myself into a tight burrito of blankets, and letting out a muffled scream of frustration. The money! I was this close to getting it. Damn alarm, why did it have to go off right at that exact moment? My mind was still flooded with the image of that dumpster overflowing with haute couture and that chest full of jewels. Envious tears, well, drool, really, threatened to spill from the corner of my mouth. Goddamn those filthy rich bastards who take everything for granted. Don't they know there are broke-ass people like me in the world who need that stuff way more than any dumpster does? Even if it was just a dream, they could have at least let me touch it. I let out a bitter laugh, thrashing on my bed, cursing the damn capitalists, the obscenely wealthy, and my insane advisor who only cared about shipping us off to factories to be worked to the bone. I lazed around in bed, fuming, until almost noon. I picked up my phone, about to order some cheap, shared combo meal for like $10, when a notification popped up, payment successful. Those goddamn automatic repayments for my Huawei credit. Staring at the balance on my screen, a number shorter than my life expectancy, I could only sigh and shake my head in resignation. Well then, guess it's hardtack and pickles for me. I gnawed on the rock-hard, frozen steamed bun from my fridge, my mind involuntarily drifting back to that treasure trove of a dumpster from my dream. The more I thought about it, the worse I felt. What kind of crap life is this? Does it even want me to live? I shot upright with a yell, about to hurl the pathetic bun across the room, when a wave of low blood sugar hit me. My legs gave way, and I collapsed back onto the bed. I wiped away a bitter tear and resignedly chewed on the frozen, icy chunk of dough. If only that damn dumpster from my dream would just appear next to me. Next to me. The thought hit me like a bolt. I scrambled out of bed, flipped open my phone maps, and tentatively typed in country garden, holding my breath as I stared at the screen. Asterisk please, please, even if this is some ghostly message, I'll take it. Anything's better than being a broke and starving loser asterisk. I clutched my phone, not daring to breathe, until the map loaded and displayed the words, country garden. I paused for a split second, then burst into hysterical laughter. Heaven hasn't abandoned this poor devil's path after all. I leaned against the dumpster, panting and exhausted. A kindly older auntie handed me a bottle of water. Kid, give it up. I've already collected all the bottles in this whole complex. Come back tomorrow, and I'll save half for you. I offered an awkward smile at that, politely declining her enthusiastic offer to take me garbage picking in other neighborhoods. I just slumped back against the dumpster to rest. Asterisk unbelievable. Can't even get first pick of the trash anymore. Might as well forget finding some damn job. Time to pack it in and become a professional beggar asterisk. I stared into the middle distance, drained. I thought about the last few dollars that had just been deducted from my account for the bike share I'd raced over here on and let out a hollow laugh. Asterisk it's fine. It's totally fine. As long as I'm not dead, it's fine asterisk. I tried to comfort myself with the thought, picking up the only vaguely worthwhile thing I'd fished out of the trash. It was a novel, its shrink wrap still on. The title was The Difficult Wife, the cold CEO chases her to the ends of the earth. A shiver of disgust ran down my spine at the ridiculously cliched name. But my hands didn't hesitate for a second, tearing off the plastic and cracking it open. Asterisk, is this heroin brain dead? The guy is literally screwing around right in front of her. He's a total man-whore, what's left to be reluctant to let go of? All she does is cry and whimper. She should be slapping both that scumbag and the other woman, asterisk. I rubbed my chest, feeling genuinely pissed off and heartsickened. I slammed the book shut and hurled it back into the dumpster behind me, leaning against it as I couldn't hold back my rant. The heroine deserves one slap, but the male lead deserves 18. The author of this book must be using their readers' heads as a septic tank. Asterisk, death penalty. Absolutely deserves the death penalty, asterisk. So much for dreams coming true. Just as I was leaning there, fuming and feeling a headache coming on, a glint of light caught my eye. I focused and saw it, pieces of jewelry, identical to the ones in my dream, materializing out of thin air and dropping down one after another. I watched the plump, perfectly round pearls and diamonds shimmering under the moonlight, my heart hammering so hard I thought it would leap out of my chest. I reached out a tentative hand to touch them. The moment I felt the smooth, warm surface of a pearl, I couldn't hold back anymore. A lopsided, manic grin spread across my face. Asterisk, I'm rich. I'm rich. Asterisk. I grabbed the giant burlap sack I'd, wisely, brought along, holding it wide open and shoveling armfuls of jewelry into it. Nearby, a woman I couldn't quite make out, wearing a nightgown, was sobbing hysterically. She was pulling jewels from a chest and hurling them at the dumpster and the ground, completely oblivious to me crouching there, stealthily collecting her discards. I shot a sideways glance at the strange woman, then hunkered down further, focusing on my lucrative task. The haul just kept coming. Soon, even using both hands to grab stuff from the dumpster wasn't fast enough. I finally couldn't take it anymore. I crept a little closer and held my sack open wide. Look, throwing it in the dumpster just means more work for me digging it out. So, how about you just toss it directly in here? The crying woman slowly looked up. It was only then I got a clear look at her face. Asterisk, holy mother of. How can anyone be this devastatingly beautiful and this insanely wealthy to waste it like this? Asterisk. Asterisk, dear heavenly grandma, why can't the world have one more rich beauty, namely, me? Asterisk. Just as I was on the verge of dying from sheer envy, this goddess of fortune paused her sobbing. Then, still crying, she started taking the items she was about to throw away and instead dropped them, one by one, directly into my burlap sack. With each piece she discarded into my bag, a fraction of my resentment towards this world, for not making me born rich, melted away. After a while, I started to feel a bit bored, and okay, maybe a tiny, minuscule, billionth of a percent guilty. Propping my chin on my hand, I decided to strike up a conversation with my personal benefactor. Hey, beautiful, why are you throwing all this stuff away? You're not gonna come looking for it later and ask for it back, are you? The woman's movements halted. Her delicate, porcelain-pale face was deathly white. She hung her head, and large tears began to fall in heavy drops. Her voice trembled with a sob. Today was supposed to be our anniversary, and he brought another woman right into our home, into our bedroom. He's clearly with someone else, but he just won't let me go. The thought made her cry even harder. Her slender frame shook with sobs. She closed her eyes, her expression utterly defeated, ashen, as she spoke. The things he gave me feel dirty. They make me sick. I looked at this person wearing a high-end silk robe, with fingers delicate enough to peel a spring onion, clutching countless jewels and a pile of luxury bags, sobbing her heart out. Then I thought about my own life, the assembly line job I'd interviewed for, 12-hour shifts with random rotations, the 300-square-foot apartment in the suburbs reeking of formaldehyde, an hour-and-a-half commute each way, facing eviction next month if I can't make rent, the single-digit balance in my bank account. Asterisk, damn. I'm laughing at my own poverty, asterisk. Asterisk, heavens, I'm not calling you grandpa anymore. You clearly don't see me as a grandson, You're treating me like a traitor to be tortured, asterisk. Looking at the woman standing there crying, beautiful and tragic, a phrase I'd seen trending online lately popped into my head. Asterisk, I don't need a lot of money, I need a lot of love. Asterisk. You rich people are so noble. You're so amazing. You wealthy folks say, I don't need a lot of money, I need a lot of love one more time, and I swear, all assets belonging to you and your relatives within 3 generations will be legally transferred to me immediately. I let out a dry ha-ha but didn't say anything. I just silently sped up the process of shoveling things into my burlap sack. Right before I left, hauling the massive bag over my shoulder, I took one last look at the person standing there, eyes red-rimmed and face haggard. I fished out a book from the dumpster and shoved it into her hands. Not sure how to repay you. Read more novels. Cultivate your mind, cleanse your brain, okay? Asterisk, read more of this idiotic book and learn. This habit of throwing a tantrum and discarding valuables every time your heart gets broken, please, never ever get cured of it, asterisk. After I nervously smuggled the sack of fortune back home, I had a strange dream that night. In the dream, my benefactor, after finishing her purge, returned to her sprawling Riverview apartment. She wept for a long time staring at the empty spaces, then seemed to resolve herself, pulling out a suitcase and starting to pack. My gaze swept across the walk-in closet full of haute couture gowns and dresses, the entire wall dedicated to luxury handbags and jewelry. My class resentment burned hotter than ever. Just as I was mentally composing a masterpiece of unrepeatable invective to express my jealousy, the front door opened. I rushed out, in the dream, to see an impossibly handsome man walk in, his face like thunder. He pulled the sobbing goddess of wealth into a tight embrace, his own eyes red-rimmed, speaking in a trembling voice. Chingyue, don't go. I promise I'll never do it again. You know how much I love you. I can't live without you. Hearing the familiar name Chingyue, something flickered in the back of my mind, too fast to catch. Pei Yanbai. You keep saying you love me, but you knew exactly what today was and you still chose to be with someone else, with her. What do you take me, Lin Chingyue, for? After roaring this, Lin Chingyue struggled to break free. But the next sentence from Pei Yanbai made her go limp in his arms, unable to move. Baby, stop this nonsense. Of course I love you. Why else would I let you casually throw away jewelry worth 30 million? You could throw out everything in this entire apartment if it made you happy. Now, be good and stop thinking about leaving. You know my relationships with others are just business marriages, a performance. I only love you. Baby, you've thrown your tantrum and gotten your anger out. Now it's my turn to be happy, isn't it? As soon as the words fell, scattered kisses began to land slowly on Lin Chingyue's tear-stained collarbone. Pei Yanbai picked up her limp, doll-like form and carried her toward the bedroom. I had zero interest in the live adult show about to happen in the bedroom. My eyes were glued, laser-focused, on that wall of clothes, bags, and jewels. Over 200,000? For this piece of fabric thinner than tissue paper? I randomly picked up a camisole with the tag still on. A quick glance at the price tag made me shriek. I thought about my own clothes, the 9 renminbi and 90 cents polyester bargains from that little red shopping app, and the underwear stuffed with God knows what black-hearted cotton. Asterisk, God damn it. What would it hurt for the world to have one more rich person, asterisk. Asterisk, you people deal in hundreds of millions, while I get happy all afternoon because I snagged a Meituan coupon or a 5 renminbi no minimum order voucher. I dream about winning the lottery and I'm over the moon fantasizing about 20 or 30,000, any more and I'd worry I was being too greedy, asterisk. And now you're telling me the stuff you rich folks casually tossed out last night is worth more than my wildest lottery dreams. I'm going to fight all you rich bastards, I screamed, slamming the incessantly ringing alarm clock onto the floor with a vengeance. Remembering the wall of luxury goods from last night's dream and that detestable capitalist bastard casually mentioning 30 million thrown away to make her happy, I punched my black-hearted cotton duvet twice in fury. 30 million. Uncertain, I grabbed my phone, taking pictures of each item and using image search online. I got a little notebook and started jotting down the prices, finally adding up the total. 32,060,000. Staring at the number on the calculator, a 3 followed by more zeros than I'd earn in my lifetime, a deep unease settled in my gut. Was that last night really just a dream? If it was a dream, how could it be so accurate? If it were a few $100,000, maybe I could keep it quiet. Rich people can't be bothered to track down that kind of chump change. But this is over 30 million. What if that lovesick fool Lin Qingyue gets sweet-talked back into the relationship and reports it stolen to the police? My heart was heavy with worry, but my hands didn't stop moving. I registered an account on Idle Fish, took photos, and listed everything online, specially noting "like new" tags attached. Several items sold almost immediately. Watching the balance on my phone grow exponentially, all my earlier reservations were flung to the far corners of the earth. I was so excited I nearly passed out. Screw the future. Big sister has money now. 2 weeks later, seeing the balance of over 30 million sitting securely in my bank account, my anxious heart finally settled back into its rightful place. It's been half a month. No cops have come knocking. No news online. No dreams about Lin Qingyue. This should, probably, be considered safe, right? Every time I saw my phone balance and thought of Lin Qingyue, I'd quickly, devoutly press my palms together and murmur, "Good people have safe lives." I didn't have any more nightmares about the police showing up to reclaim the ill-gotten gains, leaving me destitute again overnight. But I did have to clutch my bank card to fall asleep every night, and everyone I passed on the street looked like a potential robber. Don't blame me for being jumpy. After all, I used to walk down the street constantly thinking about robbing rich people myself. Having money is such a nuisance, especially for a pauper like me who's been terrified of poverty my whole life and suddenly struck it rich. After paying the rent, I felt uneasy, so I bought a house. Later, feeling like constantly splurging wasn't sustainable, I cautiously invested a few $100,000 in a couple of businesses. When they lost money, my heart ached so much I couldn't sleep for days. Later, I went online and searched for what to do after getting rich overnight. The top comment was, "As long as you don't start a business, don't invest, and don't gamble, this money is enough for you to eat, drink, and be merry every day until you die." I completely gave up after that. Guess I'll just be a lazy parasite and lie flat. Pei Yanbai. What exactly do you take me for? How could you bring someone home again? I heard the sound of shattering porcelain and a woman's piercing scream before slowly opening my eyes. I saw Lin Qingyue in her nightgown, standing barefoot on the floor, her face deathly pale, crying uncontrollably. A cut on the top of her foot, from a flying shard of porcelain, was oozing blood. Following Lin Qingyue's gaze, I saw Pei Yanbai rubbing his temples. The silk quilt slid down, revealing his chest covered in scratches from a woman's nails and smudges of lipstick. A woman slept beside him. President Pei, so this is Sister Lin? She's so pretty, she looks as young as a college student like me who hasn't even graduated yet. Hearing this, Lin Qingyue trembled with rage. She choked up, unable to form a complete sentence for a long moment, crying as if she might pass out any second. You don't love me at all. I'm leaving. I don't want to be with you anymore. After Lin Qingyue said this, Pei Yanbai let out a light, mocking laugh. He hugged the woman in his arms and leaned back against the headboard, staring at Lin Qingyue as he spoke slowly. Where will you go? You've been with me since before you even graduated college. All these years, you haven't even had a job. The food you eat, the drinks you have, the clothes you wear, the things you use, which one wasn't given to you by me? How will you live without me? Wake up, Qingyue. You can't leave me. Lin Qingyue's face lost all color for a moment. Then she took off the necklace, rings, bracelets, everything she was wearing, and threw them on the floor. Biting her lip hard, she walked to the dressing table, threw the black card in her hand onto the bed, straightened her spine, and looked at the two people on the bed. Pei Yanbai, I will live just fine without you. Watching from the side, I was anxious and shouted, but the people in the room seemed completely unaware of my cries, continuing their standoff. I looked at the rings and necklaces scattered on the floor, my heart aching. I desperately lunged to pick them up. But watching my fingertips pass straight through the necklace, I cursed shift under my breath a few times. I could only watch helplessly as these priceless items lay on the floor like garbage, ignored. My babies, they don't want you, but mommy does. Seriously, fight if you must, but why take it out on the money? If you don't want it, you could give it to me. I'd treat them well and sell them for a good price. After a miserable night in the dream, I woke up the next morning, didn't even brush my teeth, and rushed straight to that same upscale community. I searched around but had no idea which unit Lin Qingyue lived in, so I could only sit by the dumpster and wait. I waited all day. Didn't eat, didn't dare go to the bathroom, terrified I'd miss my second chance at sudden wealth. But seeing the sky was completely dark, I sighed helplessly, resigned to my fate, packed up my bag, and started walking out of the complex. Halfway there, I saw a figure walking unsteadily in the distance not far ahead. I squinted, unsure. Lin Qingyue? Hearing the voice, Lin Qingyue slowly walked towards me. Her eyes were swollen like eggs, but I didn't have time to care about that. My eyes were glued to the empty box in her hands. I was too late. My treasures, mommy failed you. I wiped away my sad tears, but Lin Qingyue seemed to misunderstand. She looked touched and grabbed my hand. Her eyes, swollen like walnuts, welled up with tears again, ready to fall. Even you, someone I've only met once, know how to feel sad for me. How could Pei Yanbai be so heartless? I didn't reply, just urgently asked her which building she lived in and if there was anything else she needed to throw away. That's not my home anymore. I've left. My God, you didn't take anything? You just left like that? I was shocked looking at Lin Qingyue, who had run out wearing just a thin dress and a shirt. Look, it's fine to fight, but a man's things are there for the taking. Remember to always take money when you go out. You're so beautiful, it's dangerous to be out at night with nothing to your name. Hearing this, Lin Qingyue's eyes instantly turned red, tears threatening to fall. We've only met twice, and you're worried about me, but he. And those things were his. I didn't want to take anything of his. I need to prove I can make it without him. I rubbed my forehead, looking helplessly at this young mistress whose every third sentence was about love. I desperately wanted to pull her ear and tell her, you can't. But seeing her on the verge of crying enough to collapse the Great Wall, I wisely stopped myself and started walking forward. After a few steps, hearing no movement behind me, I turned back and waved to the goddess of fortune. Come on, goddess. But I have nowhere to go. Looking at the girl standing there, somewhat lost, my heart softened inexplicably. Back to my place. Isn't that why I'm here to pick you up? On the 5th day of having Lin Qingyue at my place, I looked at her crying her eyes out next to me, one hand pouring alcohol down her throat, and calculated the odds of throwing her out without getting a complaint. Shaya, do you think he ever loved me? If he said he loved me, why could he be with others without any guilt? Lin Qingyue cried, turning my face towards her. Her soft hair was a bit greasy from not being washed for days. Dark circles and a few pimples, earned from staying up late with me binge-watching dramas and eating takeout, framed her eyes. She looked at me, her face streaked with snot and tears. I've never been in love, but if we're talking about love, I love money. And I probably wouldn't be willing to share my money with anyone else. So, by that logic, he doesn't love you. Hearing this, Lin Qingyue cried even harder. I quickly covered her mouth, afraid the upstairs neighbors would complain about the noise. All you think about day in and day out is lovey-dovey stuff. In my opinion, you're just bored. Love isn't as satisfying as making money. After all, a boyfriend might become someone else's. But your own money will always be your own asterisk. Stop crying. Tomorrow you're coming job hunting with me. Let's see if you still have time to think about that scumbag after working 12-hour shifts on an assembly line. Coming home exhausted, and collapsing straight into bed. We only accept recent graduates whose first degree is from a double first-class university and have work experience, or recent postgraduates and above. After interviewing at 18 companies and getting the same answer, Lin Qingyue and I collapsed onto the ground. After a long silence, she finally spoke slowly. Finding a job is so hard. They want recent grads to have work experience. If you have experience, they require a prestigious university degree. If you have experience and a degree from a top school, they ask if you're local, if you have plans to get married, what your parents do. I didn't say anything, just silently felt relieved that at least the money in my bank card was enough for me to spend lavishly until I died. Otherwise, I'd really be a beast of burden for life. Hello, is this Ms. Lin? We saw the resume you submitted online. Do you have time now? Hearing the words from the phone, Lin Qingyue and I looked at each other and smiled excitedly. Didn't your job description say live streaming sales host? Lin Qingyue's face flushed bright red. Her finger pointed at the bikini lingerie hanging nearby as she couldn't help raising her voice. That's right, miss. The goods we're selling are bikinis and swimwear. You just need to put them on, go live, and call out Big Brothers a few times. The monthly salary starts at 10K. Ms. Lin, you're beautiful and have a great figure. Once sales pick up, your salary will increase. The fury in Lin Qingyue's eyes intensified. She grabbed my arm and strode out of the place. It wasn't until we were quite far from the office building that Lin Qingyue slowly let go of my arm. Gradually sank to the ground, and squatted there, a rare look of confusion on her face. Finding a job is so hard. I once told Pei Yanbai I could definitely support myself. So, do you regret it now? I looked at Lin Qingyue squatting there, her expression struggling, and stayed silent for a moment before asking. Lin Qingyue first shook her head, then nodded, hesitated for a while, and finally spoke slowly. I don't know. I really don't know. I loved him, so I couldn't accept him having others outside. He wasn't like this before. He said he loved only me. That he would only be with me in this lifetime. But later he said he had to shoulder the responsibility of his family. That it was just a business marriage with that person. I made a scene, threatened to leave, and I did succeed in stopping the marriage. But then I found the people around him kept increasing. But I also realized what he said might not be wrong. I can't survive without him. I can't even find a job, let alone talk about paying him back. Looking at Lin Qingyue squatting there like a lost child, my heart felt a pang of unbearable sympathy. I squatted down and patted her shoulder. Don't trust any man when it comes to love. It's not that there aren't very good men in the world, but the probability, globally, is close to zero. When we interact with people, it's always with some purpose. Most women, like you, seek love, care, and consideration. But men are different. They are taught a winner's mentality from childhood. Their purpose is benefit. What they want is your body, your looks, your money. Do you know why he cheats but is still sure you won't leave? Because he already has you. Not just your body, but your heart. Men know the simplest way to bind a woman is to make her fall in love with them. I paused here, stroking Lin Qingyue's hair, my tone somewhat worldly. Anyone can betray you, but money never will. So I say, don't get hung up on those insignificant little affections. Make more money. When you reach a certain level of wealth, anyone will actively offer you everything you need, whether psychological or physical. Men, love, they are ethereal wisps of smoke. Money and power are the eternal, unchanging life pursuits women should strive for. Lin Qingyue looked up at my words, her expression one of partial understanding. But a faint spark seemed to ignite in the depths of her eyes. Qingyue, why did you run off here? I've been looking for you everywhere. Yanbai. Watching the glimmer of intelligence in Lin Qingyue's eyes get instantly covered by the dog shit called love, I rolled my eyes in exasperation. Seeing Pei Yanbai sweet-talk the fool Lin Qingyue into a daze in just a few sentences. I waved my hand and was about to go home when Lin Qingyue grabbed my arm and made a demand of Pei Yanbai. I want to live with Xiaoya. Let me think about it some more. I haven't forgiven you yet. I lay on the legendary Tycoon's 800 square meter bed, stroking the clearly custom-made silk sheets beneath me, and let out a long sigh. God damn it, the life of the rich is just better. After a day of interviews, my head was swimming. I closed my eyes and fell into a dead sleep. Hearing a commotion, I habitually looked towards the source of the sound. After all, having so many dreams, I'd learned a thing or two. I wonder what this one will foreshadow. I opened the bedroom door to see a scene of glittering lights and clinking glasses outside. Lin Qingyue looked somewhat wilted, huddled in a corner. Just as I was about to walk over to her, a few women with unfriendly expressions approached Lin Qingyue. The one leading them was the woman from the cheating incident. If it isn't the high and mighty Sister Lin? Didn't you keep saying you'd be fine without Big Brother Pei? Why are you still clinging to him like a dog, coming to his banquet? Such a hypocritical bitch. Lin Qingyue's face flushed crimson. As she stood up to retort, the woman in front of her suddenly threw herself backward. The next moment, Pei Yanbai appeared right on cue and warned Lin Qingyue not to make trouble with a dark expression. Watching Lin Qingyue cower, saying nothing, just collapsing back into her seat and crying pitifully. A wave of nameless fury rose straight up in me. This silly girl didn't listen to a single word I said yesterday. The angrier I got, the more I fumed. When I opened my eyes, looking at the crumpled quilt in my hands, I rushed downstairs and saw Pei Yanbai talking to Lin Qingyue about the evening's banquet. I want to go too. I've never seen the world, want to have a look. I quickly ran over, linked arms with Lin Qingyue, and grinned at Pei Yanbai. Seeing the undisguised contempt in his eyes, my smile froze. Asterisk damn womanizing bastard, rotten cucumber. Why does someone like this have more money than me? I'm so triggered, asterisk. I expressionlessly cursed Pei Yanbai to hell and back in my heart, but didn't show a hint of it on my face. Finally making it to the evening, I secretly took out my phone and started a live stream. I'd posted the title that afternoon, saying I'd take netizens to see the world. To see what an upper-class, rich family banquet was like. I'd linked over 100 products, thinking selling even one would be a profit. After showcasing the 13th petit four I'd eaten, the main event finally began. I pretended to casually sit on a sofa slightly behind and to the side of Lin Qingyue. Using a potted plant for cover, I aimed the camera at the woman provoking trouble opposite Lin Qingyue, broadcasting the entire incident of her initiating the conflict and deliberately framing Lin Qingyue live to the entire internet. When Pei Yanbai hurried over and, without distinguishing right from wrong, warned Lin Qingyue not to cause trouble, then bent down to pick up the other woman to leave, I jumped out from behind the tree and shouted, "Wait! Mr. Pei, such a paragon of justice! Condemning your own girlfriend without hearing both sides, carrying another woman away. Truly a modern-day Judge Bao, a living Lei Feng." Hearing my sarcastic words, the expressions of the crowd turned, subtly strange. Pei Yanbai looked embarrassed, saying he'd seen the truth. "President Pei, your vision is truly sharp. Perhaps you should go online and see what the truth really is." After saying this, I didn't look back at the crowd's expressions. I just grabbed Lin Qingyue and walked out. Listening to the sobbing sounds behind me, I had a headache. I turned around, pushed Lin Qingyue into a chair, and showed her the live stream revenue from just now on my phone. "Stop crying. Crying over a scumbag like that is useless. Better save your tears for his funeral. Look how much money we made tonight. Beating up scumbags, cursing out bitches, and making money, isn't that more useful than crying over that rotten cucumber all day?" Hearing my crude words, Lin Qingyue couldn't help but laugh through her tears. After all that, do you still like him? I asked her. Lin Qingyue paused, then looked up. Her eyes were shimmering with unshed tears. But the light hidden beneath that shimmer was even brighter. So bright it was almost scorching. No. I've spent years banging my head against this southern wall. It's time to turn back. After returning home, Lin Qingyue shut herself in her room. I was worried she might do something drastic for love. Even more worried that after thinking for so long, she'd still be deluded. On the third day, I called a locksmith to open Lin Qingyue's tightly shut door. Seeing her looking haggard, with disheveled hair, a certain corner of my heart ached sharply. My voice was a bit hoarse. Was it worth it? Hearing this, Lin Qingyue shook her head, then nodded. I don't know. Every time I wanted to harden my heart and leave. He seemed to go back to how he was at the very beginning. Those times were so good that just remembering them made me ignore all the bitterness for that little bit of sweetness. He pretends a little of how he loved me before, and I can't help but soften. Looking at Lin Qingyue like this, my heart softened, but I also felt frustrated at her lack of resolve. I pulled out my treasured collection of scumbag literature and 108 Ways for the Abused Female Lead to Die from my novel bookshelf and threw them at her. Telling her if she still couldn't let go, she'd end up like in these books. I knew in my heart that after saying she wouldn't bang her head against the wall anymore, Lin Qingyue had already figured it out. She just needed a push. So let me be that push. The next day, when I got up and saw Lin Qingyue sitting at the dining table eating breakfast, I looked at her and finally smiled. Pulling her out of the misery, consider it my thank you gift to the goddess of fortune. Although the root cause was cured, to prevent relapse, I dragged Lin Qingyue job hunting again. Having been disconnected from society for years, she could only find a job making bubble tea. From then on, she got up at 6 every morning and didn't get off work until 9 at night. Dine-in and take-out orders exploded, she was busy and dizzy, collapsing into sleep as soon as she was home. After half a month on the job, when I tentatively brought up Pei Yanbai, I saw no yearning for love in Lin Qingyue's eyes, only endless hatred for the job. Seeing Lin Qingyue like this, I finally felt relieved. I was hesitating whether to tell Lin Qingyue that this bubble tea shop was actually a franchise I owned when I saw the woman from the banquet walk in. Well, if it isn't our Ms. Lin. Have you fallen so low after leaving Big Brother Pei? Sister, why don't you ask Big Brother Pei for some alimony? Living like a drowned rat. Lin Qingyue opened her mouth but didn't know what to say, her face full of anger. Seeing the situation, I helplessly picked up a broom nearby and started sweeping straight at the woman. Covering my nose and saying what filthy thing had come in, that it stank. Just you wait. The woman gave us a vicious look, covered her face, and left. I turned and raised an eyebrow at Lin Qingyue. Next time, deal with trash like this. Got it? After saying this, Lin Qingyue and I looked at each other and laughed, our eyes full of lively amusement. The next moment, the bell on the door chimed. Lin Qingyue and I looked up simultaneously to see Pei Yanbai walk in straight, followed by that woman. Well, President Pei, here to seek revenge for your mistress? Pei Yanbai didn't reply, just stared fixedly at Lin Qingyue behind the counter. My heart skipped a beat as I looked back. Seeing the complete lack of emotion on Lin Qingyue's face, I breathed a sigh of relief. Qingyue, come back with me. Look at this menial work you're doing. You've lost weight. The woman behind him, seeing the situation, looked uneasy. She cozied up to Pei Yanbai and said in a sickly sweet, affected tone, Big Brother Pei, I'm afraid Sister Lin's standards are too high now. Shut up. 'Cause any more trouble and you're out. Before the words finished, Pei Yanbai backhanded her across the face. He turned back, his expression turning somewhat lonely, his eyes slightly red as he looked at Lin Qingyue. Qingyue, believe me, I really know I was wrong this time. I shook my head and spoke up coldly from the side. The great writer you once said, men love to swear oaths the most. Their vows are no different from a dog's bark. Don't believe them. How true. Shut up. Pei Yanbai glared viciously at me, his tone fierce, as if he was about to rush up and punch me. I stumbled back in fear, only to see Lin Qingyue run in front of me, her expression cold, with a hint of disgust. Xiaoya is my friend, Pei Yanbai. Be polite. Pei Yanbai's expression softened. He looked deeply into Lin Qingyue's eyes, reaching out to try and grab her hand. As long as you come back with me, I'll let it slide. Qingyue, come back with me. Lin Qingyue smiled, but her eyes held an unmeltable coldness. Go back with you for what? To be kept like a canary in a cage, waiting for your favor every day? My work now fills my days. I won't be waiting for you to come home like before, crying secretly when you don't. If you like it here, I'll buy the shop for you, okay? Hearing Pei Yanbai's words, I felt annoyed. I should have told Qingyue this was my shop earlier, then this scumbag wouldn't have a chance to suck up. Pei Yanbai, what makes you think I'd go back to you now? When we were together, you said you loved only me, but by the 3rd year, you had someone else. Countless days and nights I cried waiting for you to come home, only to be disappointed again and again. Pei Yanbai, I've waited long enough. I don't want to wait anymore. Hearing this, Pei Yanbai staggered back a few steps in disbelief, his face deathly pale, trembling, not daring to look Lin Qingyue in the eye. He hurriedly muttered, I'll come back in a few days, and stumbled out, red-eyed. Watching Pei Yanbai's retreating figure, I muttered, a dog can't change its habit of eating shit, then leaned close to Lin Qingyue and threatened her not to soften her heart and go back to eating shit. Only after getting Lin Qingyue's firm assurance did I mysteriously lean close to her ear, slowly utter one sentence, and then hurriedly escape. This bubble tea shop is actually mine. Don't you dare curse me. I watched in bewilderment as that idiot Pei Yanbai, for the past half-month, religiously ordered 520 cups of bubble tea every afternoon, with the delivery address set to our shop. I really couldn't follow his train of thought. Hey, this idiot comes every day. Aren't you tempted? Lin Qingyue, skillfully, accepted the huge order, then, skillfully, crossed out the 520 cups to be made, turned around, and smiled brightly at me. Thanks to the idiot for the business revenue. I looked at Lin Qingyue with gratified eyes, slumping bonelessly into the recliner behind me, mumbling to the busy shop manager Lin. I haven't had any dreams for a long time. Tisk, it's a pity. I still wanted to see if I'd win the lottery in the future. During a lull in orders, Lin Qingyue turned around and smiled at me with slight exasperation. Aren't you already a rich lady, now? Why would you need to scratch lottery tickets? Rich lady. I thought of the over 30 million sitting in my bank card, suddenly remembering the scene from my first dream. A light bulb went off. I crooked my finger at Lin Qingyue. Taking you to find the goddess of fortune tomorrow. I dragged Lin Qingyue to the entrance of a residential complex and told her this was where the goddess of fortune lived. Lin Qingyue saw the words country garden and looked at me puzzled. I raised an eyebrow and spoke with some mockery. I've looked into this complex. It's full of little wives who give away their wealth.